a confession to make, which is that I think minimalism is overrated. I'm a minimalist myself. I'm a life coach. I help women simplify their lives. I love minimalism, but I'm calling minimalism's bluff. There are tons of things I love about the concept of minimalism. Let's face it, there are a lot of pros to having less stuff. There's more financial stability, perhaps, more freedom, less time spent on shopping and maintaining and moving and cleaning your stuff. You have opportunities to rely on others, which is cool. You have a chance to practice contentment. You have the ability to bless others with the stuff that God gave you instead of hanging on to it and not using it. And everyone who loves minimalism, including me, talks about that stuff. It's all valid, but there's a huge thing missing. I remember going to the theater back in summer of 2017 with my husband to see the Minimalism documentary. Now you can watch it on Netflix, but my husband and I were so excited to see it. We literally paid to go see it in a theater. And it was a great documentary, but I have one main issue with it, and more so just with the message of minimalism in general, because according to this documentary and what a lot of minimalists, probably even myself, will tell you or kind of insinuate is that minimalism is basically the solution to your problems. That minimalism can allegedly even fix your broken relationships. And I'm calling minimalism's bluff because minimalism is not our savior. I remember at one point in the documentary, someone said something, it was so profound. I took it in a slightly different way than they meant it, but the filmmakers were interviewing an expert and he said something to the effect of, you can never get enough of the thing you don't actually want. And he was talking about consumerism, like you can keep accumulating and accumulating, but that's not what you actually want. And he was kind of insinuating that minimalism is the answer, is the antidote to that. But you can never get enough of minimalism either, because that is ultimately also not the thing that you actually want. So let that sink in. I mean, this documentary was totally secular, and this guy was, referring to stuff, like I said, like no matter how many possessions you fill your life with, they will never truly satisfy you because that's not what you're truly after. But my brain just couldn't stop thinking about it from this different angle, because in the context of faith and Jesus and Christianity, that statement could not be more true. You can never get enough of the thing you don't actually want. And the thing is, whatever that is for you, whether it's decluttering and minimalism, whether it's getting skinny, making more money, having great friendships, making your home beautiful, all of those things do provide some benefits for sure. And I love helping women work toward those things to the glory of God. And I feel happier having less stuff than I do when the clutter is starting to pile up. Holy cow, was moving last year into this new house as a minimalist so much easier than I thought it would be. But I would be in big trouble if I thought that less stuff or any of those things that I just listed, like, losing weight or having more money or whatever, was the be all and the end all. Because no matter how much I get of those things, they are not truly going to bring me what I'm looking for in life. And you may know my profession is life coaching. I work with overwhelmed, go-getter Christian women. I help them simplify and systemize their lives to make time for what matters most. And so I will not deny, I am definitely a fan of personal growth and of making positive changes in life. I get super giddy about helping women get their businesses in order or their lives in order, reduce their stress, find time for what matters most, set up systems. And I see the way that impacts them and their marriages and their families and their relationships with God. And that is so good. And we can take action. We have the ability to take action on things that are within our influence and control. But I know this truth, which is that nothing my clients improve in their lives that is purely earthly is going to be the ticket to lasting satisfaction. And thankfully, since my clients are Christian, they usually understand that too. They know, okay, I'm setting up this productivity system, or I'm doing this decluttering, or streamlining something in my business. And that's going to help. It's going to make a difference, but it's not going to ultimately give me what I'm after. And I have to be mindful of this myself, because it's so easy for me to think, as someone who's a doer and who is very oriented toward fixing things and improving things, it's so easy for me to put more hope in a new productivity system or improving a relationship or something than I really should. Those things will improve my life to some extent, but they're not going to bring me as much peace and joy and fulfillment as I often delude myself into thinking that they will. I don't want to be hard on minimalists out there and the guys who created that documentary, because it really is good, and there's so much good in their message. And I think that even those guys who created the documentary, Ryan Nicodemus and Joshua Fields Milburn, I think even over the years, they have kind of discovered this for themselves, that minimalism is great, but it's not the answer to your problems. And you can, drastically reduce your stuff, but you're still going to have a lot of the same problems in life to some extent. And you're still going to have plenty of other problems. I wanted to remind you of this super important truth today. And, if you're in the midst of busyness in your business or your personal life, you've got your head down, you're busting your butt for an end result, I pray that you pause and consider what you really hope that end result will get you. Because maybe what is being sold as the magic answer or the magic solution, like minimalism, for example, or whatever it is that you're working on, maybe it won't really get you what you're after as much as you think. And so you can still work on that thing, but just keep that healthy perspective so that, number one, in the process of getting there, you don't feel like, well, I can't be happy, I can't be at peace until I get to that thing. And also, if you fail at that or it takes longer than you think, you don't feel completely despondent, like, well, now I can't have peace because I tried that minimalism thing, or I tried setting up that system for my family and it didn't work. And so now peace or joy is elusive, because the very best goodness in life doesn't come from hustling and achieving goals. And yes, those things can be very rewarding. And yes, goals can be to God's glory. I make sure I set goals with my faith in mind, but they pale in comparison to the joy and contentment and peace and mercy and the heaven that is yours, because Jesus sacrificed his life for you. So I hope you keep that in mind. And, I remember, was that last summer? Yeah, last summer. One of our former neighbors who was watching my boys, who is an amazing Christian and has a very full life and has numerous adults living with her and, in her home, and just is a wonderful woman who I admire so much. She very embarrassedly made a comment to me one day about the state of her home and how she has so much stuff. And I know you're a minimalist and you're probably totally judging me and all this. And I was like, Pam, I am not judging you. I pursue minimalism because it works well for me and because I kind of need to for my own sanity. But I was like, honestly, Pam, some of the most incredible Christians I know have a lot of stuff, and that is okay. And so let's not I think that there are spiritual benefits and aspects to minimalism for sure, but I don't want to make that seem like a more moral thing to be a minimalist versus to not be a minimalist, because a lot of the people almost everyone in my life that I know has more stuff than me. And honestly, a lot of those people are doing a really good job, a better job than me, of prioritizing relationships and being available for people and having a very loose grip on their plans and their agenda. And that's awesome stuff. So you don't have to be a minimalist to be a good Christian, right? In fact, sometimes we could probably overdo it and spend so much time decluttering and be so focused on our own home that we're not looking up and looking out around us. So I think there are certainly so many benefits. I've talked about that, but I also want to talk about the other side of minimalism, that it's not necessarily more moral, and that in some ways it is overrated because it's not truly going to give you the ultimate fulfillment that you're after. You have access to that right now, even if your house is full of stuff. Can I get an amen? In closing, I have a paper with 2 Corinthians 4:18 taped up on a cabinet by my kitchen sink right now. And it reminds me that we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen. For what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. And I hope that encourages you today. And I hope if this kind of personal growth with a Jesus focus content is interesting to you and encouraging for you, that you hit that subscribe button and hit the bell notification button if you want to get notified when new videos come out. That means so much to me, and I hope it's a blessing to you. And I have 2 free gifts for you in the description below. It's a choose your own adventure kind of day, depending on what you need. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't declutter. I still think minimalism is really powerful. Just do it with the right perspective. So if you do want to do some more decluttering, I have a free PDF for you with 15 of my favorite decluttering questions that will help you declutter more and help you declutter faster. And so you can look for a link to download that. Or if you're like, nope, I'm good there, good with I'm not going to work on decluttering for right now, totally cool, I've got another gift for you. And that is 3 lies about time Christian women tell themselves and 3 truths that will set you free. Thousands of women have downloaded that and loved it. So I hope you love it too. Comment and tell me your thoughts on this video. What do you think about minimalism? How has it been a benefit to you? In what ways has it not been everything that it's cracked up to be? And I will see you again soon. Bye.